Introduction to capital budgeting. This is a topic under financial management. Introduction to capital budgeting. Introduction to capital budgeting. This is a topic under financial management. Introduction to capital budgeting. And as you know, as an investor, you need to understand two things. The project you want to invest in, that is one thing. And number two, why should you invest in that project? So you identify the project and you identify the reason you should invest in that project. So today I'm going direct to the a method or a pricing technique of which it will help us to determine which project we should invest in, or should we invest or should we not invest. So I'm going direct to looking at a net present value. And internal rate of return. Internal rate of return. If somebody asks you anywhere or after this class, if somebody asks you what is internal rate of return, please tell the person that internal rate of return refers to the concept that equates NPV to 0. Just tell that person simply, internal rate of return. It is the concept that equates net present value to 0. Please remember that when we talk of internal rate of return, refers to the concept. This is the concept that equates net present value to 0. Allow me to put my 0 there. So after this class or after this session, you cannot move out of this session without knowing something. At least you know what internal rate of return stands for. Internal rate of return. It is a concept that equates NPV to 0. So we cannot have internal rate of return if NPV is 1. We cannot have internal rate of return if NPV is 1. So NPV should be 0. NPV should be 0 for us to get the internal rate of return. So in this session, we're going to look at how we compute IRR, internal rate of return. How do we compute internal rate of return? How do we compute internal rate of return? Good. There is a knowledge that I want you to get when we talk about internal rate of return. So internal rate of return represented by ARR is given by lower rate. We shall be looking at it. You add the NPV of lower rate divided by the difference in NPV. We shall be looking at how we come up with that, and then you multiply by. Please remember, you have a higher rate minus lower rate. This formula is golden for you to understand. As far as the internal rate of return is concerned. That you are going to take the lower rate. You add the division of NPV of the lower rate, then divide by the difference in NPV. Remember, we shall be having lower rate and higher rate. Difference in NPV. And then you have to multiply by the difference of higher rate minus lower rate. When I talk about the rate, here is the cost of capital. It is represented by the cost of capital, famous known as COC. Cost of capital. You will be given maybe 12% as the cost of capital as your lower rate. 12% as the cost of capital as your lower rate. then you have to use trial and error method, use trial and error method with at least higher rate than 12%, say maybe 18%, until you get a negative NPV. The NPV for this formula to work, you need two NPV. The NPV that will be derived from 12% and the NPV that will be derived from another cost of capital, a trial one. For example, we can say 18%. And this 18%, if it does not give us a negative NPV, please, you cannot get your IRR. It should be, the rule is that your trial and error method should work, and you should be having a negative NPV. And we are going to look at that today. So for example, assume you are given this example here. You're told that you're having a project here, project A with 12% rate of return, and the following cash flow. Or you can reverse it. You're told to determine the NPV and IRR, internal rate of return. You're told to determine the NPV and the IRR. Good. Allow me to put my cash flow here. On this side. So this is my project A cash flow. And please assist me when need be. Help me to get the answer. Have here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have my cash flows here. We have been doing a lot with you people. So now up to this point, I know you know what will happen here. What will happen? I have 20,000. I have that 22. And 50,000. Good. Somebody to tell me which type of cash flow are those? Which type of cash flow do we have? Which type of cash flow do we have there? You look at my chart here. Which type of cash flow do we have here? 555 is telling us that we are having irregular cash flow. Thank you so much. Somebody else to tell us. Year 0 represent what? Year zero represent what? Year zero. Somebody, very fast. Remember, we are running. You should not fear. Initial outlay. Thank you so much. Now, allow me to put a bracket, because that is my initial outlay. The cash flows are here. And I'm told that this cash flow, they are irregular. They are not similar. If I look at year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, they are not similar. And therefore, they are irregular cash flow. And for me to determine the NPV, remember, I want first of all to get the NPV using the lower rate. But my objective here is to arrive to IRR, internal rate of return. So I want to get the PBIF 12%. PBIF 12%. I have a calculator here, and we have said that we assist each other so that we are able to complete this within the stipulated time. We are having almost 20 minutes. So I'll start with the year one. Or I can as well say that this will be less to 0. Remember, the formula of PBIF is 1 plus R. 1 plus r. So 1.12 raised to power negative 0. That will be, of course, 1. This I can just put 1 there, no worries. Then 1.12 raised to power negative 1. 8929, 0.8929. I also have for year 2 raised to power negative 2. 7972. 7972. Somebody else should be giving us for year 4 1.12 raised to power negative 3. I'm having 7118, 0.7118. And the last one mwenye amehesabu hapo unapata nini? Raised to power negative 4 for the 4 years. 6355. I hope you people you are getting that. 0.16. No, it's 6355. Good. I'm having my PV 12% each year. I want to get my NPV. If I put the NPV at the top there as my heading, NPV at the top there as my heading, remember now I've included my initial outlay. And I know that to get the NPV, I have first of all to get the summation of the present value of each year, and then I subtract my initial outlay. Therefore, I'm working at it, the whole of it. So I can have NPV here as my heading. So I have that 200 as my initial outlay, 32,000. Is it 1,000? Oh, yes, that 2,000 is okay. Then I can look at my 20,000 times 0.8929. I hope we are together. 17,858. 17,858. That is my present value for year 1. Who can give me the present value for year 2 as we compute together? I'm having 22,000 times the PV 12%, 0.79, 72, 0.79, 72, 17,538, 17,538, 17, almost similar to this, 17,538, 17,538.4. Allow me to put the 4. This is sensitive to me. This is sensitive to me. For the year 3 is 33,000 times 0.7118. 7118, I'm getting 23,489.4. This is 23,489.4. Good. The last one class, I'm having 50,000. I have to compute 50,000 times 0.63, giving me 31,775.0, of course. Now, since my heading is indicated as NPV, I'm going to do the summation. I'm going to do the summation of which I have to add all the present value and then I subtract the initial outlay. So I have the first one plus 23,489.4, 23,489.4 plus 17,538, 538.4 plus 17,858, 17,858. I get 90. I'm getting 9660.8. I think you can confirm for me with your phone, and then I subtract the initial outlay, which was 32,000. 58,660.8. 58,660.8 is my net present value. Please note this clearly, that our NPV for this project is 58,660.8. That is our net present value. Up to that point, is our project A viable or not viable? Are we going to get something from our project A, or we are not going to get something? Is it viable or not viable? Is it viable or not viable? I can see our NPV is positive. Whenever you get a positive NPV, that means your project is viable. Your project is viable, and if you invest in that project, you're going to make some profit or you're going to get some return. But I'm not supposed to stop at that point. Whatever I want is to get the IRR. Now, what should I do? What should I do so that I get my IRR? I have to use the trial and error method to get still the NPV. But my NPV in this case, it should be a negative. It should be a negative. Now, can somebody tell us which rate should we use in order to make our NPV to be a negative? Which rate should we use? Remember, this is a trial and error method. You can tell me a rate of which when we use, still our NPV is positive. But what is our objective? Our objective is to get a negative NPV. Now, higher rate. Yes, it's higher rate of how much? Give me the value now. Give me the rate. Sometimes we advise students to double the smaller rate or the lower rate. You double the lower rate. When you double the lower rate, you find that you are getting at least a negative NPV. You can double the lower rate, or you double it and then add like 2. You can maybe say 20. 555 is telling us we use 20. Now, if we use 20, and we find that it is not a negative, I think it will give us tedious work to repeat again. Why can't we go to double the rate? So 12% we double, and then we use the 24%. Let's use 24%. If it does not give us a negative NPV, at least now we shall go to 30. 9660.8 or 58660.8. 58660.8. Now our NPV is this. Remember here, my heading is NPV. I've now done the summation of that. 9660.8 is your present value. The present value for year one up to year 4. That is the present value. Remember the formula for getting NPV. To get NPV is equal to present value minus initial outlay. Please never forget this. This is golden to you. Are we together, Massey? Are we together, Massey now? Are we together, Massey? It's only that for me, I just did it. The whole of it. Let's now use 24. Remember, we are using trial and error method, so that at least at the end, we get a negative NPV. We don't want a positive. We want a negative NPV here. I can repeat this. I have here, year 0, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Then cash flow. Cash flow remains the same. Whatever that is changing here is only the rate or the cost of capital. Initial outlay is 32,000, 20,000, 22,000, 33,000. And then this one is at least helping you to understand if you want to reduce the NPV. The cost of capital should be high. If you want to reduce the NPV, the cost of capital should be high. So let's use the cost of capital as 24%. The first one, of course, it will be 1. That one does not change. When you raise the number to with 0, it is 1. Of course, it's 1. Then we go to for year 1. So I'll be having 1.24 raised for negative 1. How much are you getting? From your end? I don't know whether you people you have a calculator. Ama mulisa how. Lakini sasa kama hamuna calculator, can you use a phone really? But there are some phones which can help you to do this, or you can look at the table at the back of your past paper. There is a table that can really help you to get this very fast. 0.8065. Wow. I don't know whether the 24% will guide us well, but let's do it. 22,000. No. I have to 1.24 raised to power negative 2. 6504. 0.6504. Then I have year 3, 1.24. Remember, our rate is 24%. Time raised to power negative 3. The third year, 5245. 0.5245. 5245. And then the last year is 1.24 raised to power negative 4. Negative 4229, or 0.4230. 4230, because this 29 naona tukireplace it's when we round off itakuwa 30. Good. Are we together up to that point? First of all, confirm whether we are together up to that point, please. Please confirm whether we are together up to that point. Are we together? Oh, I did not mute this. I don't know whether it has disturbed you. Oh, sorry for that. It might have disturbed you because once somebody enter and have not muted, the background noise is really disturbing. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Yes, I'm repeating. I'll repeat that. Repeating that. So I know that up to this point, if you have been attending our free sessions, you know that when you are having cash flow which are not uniform, we discount them using the present value interest factor, and that's what we are applying here. And remember, the formula for that is 1 plus r raised to negative n. Hii ndio formula tuna apply kwa calculator. Hiyo ndio unaweka kwa calculator. Ndio maana unasikia nikisema kwamba 1.24. Now 24 is my 0.24 is my the rate. Now I want to get the NPV. Allow me to use the same method I used. I just have the heading NPV. NPV. So that I'll just do the summation. So 32 remain to be 32 because I'm multiplying with 1. So it's 32,000. Then I multiply 20,000 times 0.8065. 8065. I'm getting 16,130. Oh, 16,130. Nianza kuona shida juu. If we are at the half of our initial outlay already, I think this 24% will not give us a negative NPV, but let's continue and try. Probably the others will be lower, but I have seen that we are outside. To 22,000, we shall be using 30% later times 0.6504. Oh, 14. I cannot proceed with this. This 24 will not give me. It will not give me a negative here. It will not give me a negative here. It will not give me. Already I have 14,308 here, and I can see if I add 16,130, and then I have not done for the 33,000 and for 50, it will still, the present value will still be very high. Allow me to not to continue for the interest of time, not to continue with that, and we use another rate. Let's use another rate. This rate is not giving me a negative. And that's why we said it is a trial and error method. So which rate should I use? You have seen that even 20 could not have given us a negative. Remember, the objective here is for you to first to get for the trial and error. The second one, you should get a negative NPV. So I think I should raise my rate. To even 40. And raise it even to 40. Let me use 40%. Let me use 40%. So I'm having this is one still. That one will not change. So 1.4 raised to power negative 1. 71. 0.7143. 0.7143. I go to the next one. 1.4 raised to power negative 2. 5102. 0.5102. How I wish that this one can give us what we want. And then I go to the next one. Okay, I go to the next one. Is 1.4 raised to power negative 3. It's giving me 3644. 0.3644. Oh, I pray that this one may give us 1.4 raised to power negative 4. Wow. 2603. 0.2603. How I wish that 20,000 times 0.7143. 14,286. Okay, so this one we shall complete. 14,286. Then 22,000 times 5102.5102. 11,224. 0.4 of course. And then I have 33,000 times 0.3644. Hii pia imekataa kufika kutupatia negative, no worries. 50,000 times 0.2603 lazima tuifanye, alafu tuone ni ngapi itakataa, itabaki 13,015. But at least we have reduced this. Let's see the NPV here. Let's see the NPV here. No worries. 12,025, 12,025, 0.4 plus 12,224, 12,224.4 plus 14,286, 14,286. Good. 51,550. It has just reduced with a very small margin, 32,000. 19,550, 19,550.8, 19,550.8 as my NPV. Still, this NPV is not negative 0.8, but at least it has reduced from 58. We have reduced to this. So I go to use 60%. Try and error method. Allow me to use 60. Allow me to use 60. Remember, I need a negative NPV. I need a negative NPV so that I'm able to compute my IRR. So yeah, now this one we can go very fast. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Cash flows. Having 32,000. 20, 22, 33, 20. 22, 33, and then 50,000. Allow me to use that. We use 65. I will use 65. I use 65%. Yay. That is okay. Let's see. This is one. So my NPV here is 3,200. Of course, that is initial outrate does not change. So 1.65 raised to power negative 1. Napata 6061. 0.6061. Good. I go to 1.65 raised to negative 2. 36, that's 0.3673. 3673. Almost there. 1.65 raised to power negative 3. 2226. 0.2226. Wow. 1.65 raised to power negative 4. Almost there. 1349. 0.1349. Do you think this will give us a negative? Let's try. 20,000. If it does not give us, I don't know, 60, 61, 12, 122. Hi, 22,000 times 0.3673, 80.6. Times 0.2226. 73, 45.6. We're almost there. 50,000 times 0.13, 49, 67.45. Now, where are we now? Let's see. Let's add this. This is very interesting. 7345.6 plus 80.6 plus 12,122. 34. We missed kidogo. 34 to okay, now if this is 34, I minus 32, minus 32,000. Wow, 22,993. So 70 will give me that. 70 will give me that. 70% or 75. Me use 75. Examiner will give you something that at least will be, let me go with 75%. So this is one, that's okay. So I have 1.75 raised power negative 1, 0.5714, 1.75 raised power negative 2, 3265.